Hello, everybody. Suzanne Kellner-Zinck, Dawning Visions Hypnosis, here to talk to you about falling back in love with your life. Let me tell you something. I've had a very interesting day today. The first thing that occurred was I mixed up one client with another client. I was asking the one client, he had told me that his self-hypnosis was working really, really great for him. He had messaged me that. I told him, how are you doing with your calls? Because the other client with the same first name had agreed to make at least 50 sales calls this week. It took me a little bit of a time to figure out what I had done wrong there. And it shouldn't have been obvious because the personalities couldn't have been different. One's a white dude, one's a black dude. But hey, whatever. Being human, things happen. And I finally got it cleared up. And he is going to write me another updated testimonial on my website, which is like really excellent because he's doing super well. And I couldn't be happier for him. This is a guy in his late 70s, still making a life that is wonderful for him. And he credits me for helping him get there. I didn't do it all by any stretch of the imagination. I facilitated it for him. It took us 3 days, 3 hours each day, done. That's how quickly I work with some of my clients. Because when they're ready to go, they're ready to go. Next, I saw a very disturbing, post come through my Facebook feed from one of my sisters. She's very into politics. It's always negative, and it really just got to the point where I'm like, I don't want to see this shit anymore on my Facebook page. This is not what I want invited into my life. So I blocked her because I don't need to see that crap, and neither do you. And I put a post on my Facebook page after posting about the next thing I'm going to talk to you about, letting people know that if they want to put that crap on my page, because there's another guy who had written some negative crap on my page as well about something I posted, I deleted his post and I blocked him because nobody has to have that stuff on their pages, ever. Generally speaking, I end up blocking a lot of people who friend me and then they make inappropriate comments about wanting to get to know me or whatever. I don't know. Not interested people. If I wanted to have a relationship, I could have a relationship. Trust me on this one. My choice, no more relationships. I was married for over 20 years. I had another relationship with another person who is, I would say, on the narcissistic range, and an alcoholic until he almost killed himself with alcohol. Then the alcohol went away and things were better. And then I ended up leaving the United States to do my master's in peace and conflict management, the international school at the University of Haifa, overlooking the beautiful Mediterranean Sea. And 5 months later, he was dead. All the times that we went into the hospital to have his heart looked at, they never saw the cancer, not once. Well, folks, let it be known. If you're eating a lot of candy, in his case, he's eating a lot of candy and cough drops because a lot of the medications he was on for his heart disease gave him dry mouth. And I think he was also on anti-anxiety meds, which can do that as well. Well, cancer loves sugar. So if you don't want cancer, stop eating all the sugar because that's what it thrives on. So then one of my clients replied to a text that I had sent her with a video from Chase Hughes explaining how, shall we say, a behavioral psychologist who worked for the US Navy handle interrogations. This is a woman who has come so far in reclaiming herself in her life, but I still want her to not ever have to be aggressive nor feel like she has to defend herself. Because she doesn't. She has nothing to defend herself against. And this video was perfect. She loved the video. We went back and forth and she wrote me the nicest text. She said, if it weren't for you coming in when we were going through such a difficult time, I don't know what I would have done. Then she told me she loved me and she was really glad I was in her life. And that was really beautiful messaging to receive after the previous messaging. Then I went out for a walk because I'm going to be sitting here pretty much for the rest of the day and the evening, both doing my Dunning-Vision's hypnosis marketing work, putting together the messaging and a project that I'm working on for CEOs in particular. And then I have a detailed personal history to do with a really cute young client who's just signing on. She and her mom will be doing this together because mothers have memories from before the kids have any memories, and that's really helpful so often when I'm working with kid clients. This one happens to be 15 years old. Super cute. So I went walking down on the seaside today, and I took a bunch of photos. They're on my Facebook page. I think it's Kellner-Zinck. And it was photos of kids playing in the sand, siblings running one from the next, kids playing in the sand. The guy with a truck, that you move stuff with, like a hand truck, with chaise lounge chairs from the beach piled high because the season is over, at least at the place in which he works, and some flowers and other photos of things that are important to me about my life here as I was going up and down, especially the shell lady. Shell lady is a really old lady. Well, she looks really old. You can't really tell here because, they're out in the sun so long, so often that the skin gets kind of leathery. And then a lot of times, because they love eating sugar and starches here, teeth fall out of their mouths quicker than they should. Like, teeth should never fall out of one's mouth, but sometimes they do. And so she looks a lot older than she probably is. Well, last year I was walking up and down the seaside every day, and she would never smile at me. And then, like, at the end of the season, she started smiling at me. And then today she gave me a smile as I walked by. She doesn't speak any English, which is okay. So that was really cool. And then there was a Filipino guy, young guy, who just wants to go to Alberta, Canada. And I told him that it's really expensive to live in Canada for so many reasons. He had asked me about America. I said, yes, inflation is making it quite impossible for even people with lots of money to afford to live there. But Canada, to get housing, is even worse. And I suggested him to keep his eye on the YouTube news, independent news, especially there's one channel in particular that's about Canada, and to see how that goes with Alberta gaining independence or becoming a state of the United States. Trump is totally behind them leaving Canada. He can't stand Carney for very good reasons. Carney has made it very clear he can't stand Trump. So there you go. Some personalities just are oil and water. It's just the way it is. But for Canada, they don't have an economy and they don't have an army really. So they rely on America. So when you cut off America, whether or not you like the situation, you're basically screwing yourself. And that's the problem with Canada and why the Western territories want to become independent of Toronto or whatever the city is, Ottawa, wherever they are. And so that was a fun conversation. It actually started because I saw his Playboy bunny tattooed on the side of his neck. And he spoke perfect English, as Filipinos do. And that was actually kind of fun. He was washing a window, did a perfect job. And that was what I commented on too. Who else did I see? Oh, and then on my way back, so I go down the seaside and then I come back down the main road here, which my apartment's right off of. And Matu Fafalidis are out there sweeping up the needles yet again. They do that every day because there's a lot of pine trees that drop a lot of pine needles all over the parking lot, and the Fafa Premier Resort doesn't want that crap all over their parking lot. So those two go out there and they sweep it away. It's a pretty huge place, actually. But my most fun is catching the photos of the kids just playing and having a good time, especially if they're playing with their siblings or they're playing with their parents and our grandparents out there on the beach. And I got quite a few of those shots today. So that was a lot of fun. And that is the whole point. We're not on this planet to cause dissension among ourselves. Arguing opposite sides can be healthy. It's called a debate, but you don't make it personal, and you don't make it antagonistic, and you don't make it hateful. All that does is spread ill will, and for healthy people, such as I like to believe I am, emotionally speaking, don't put up with that crap. Why should we? So instead, invite yourself to have a lovely day, doing something that's enjoyable with people that you enjoy being with, even if it is yourself. And, maybe you want to take a walk and see who you bump into along your way, because you never know. Like yesterday, I posted this to my Facebook page as well, along with a photo of where we actually did the hypnosis. There was a gentleman there, an Albanian. I think he was probably in his 30s. He spoke really good English. And he said hello to me as I said hello to him as I was walking down the seaside. And we had a conversation, and he asked me what I did for a living. And I told him hypnosis helped people release emotional traumas with hypnosis. And he said, hypnosis is very fascinating. But he had never been formally hypnotized. So I asked him if he wanted to have an experience. And he said, yeah. So we walked a little ways away, and we went to one of the hotels that still had the change lounges out. And I pointed to one that was reclined back exactly right for him to do the hypnosis comfortably, with the sea right there with the waves crashing in and out, which I did definitely, shall we say, utilize, as late great Milton Erickson would say, utilize everything, giving me a suggestion that with each crash of the wave coming in, he'd be put into a deeper and deeper trance, feeling great all the while. That worked really, really well. And he had given me two things that he wanted to work on. One was the fact that he's with a really nice woman. He really likes her. He wanted to check that he's absolutely in love with her, because he was kind of questioning that, because he didn't understand why I was thinking about other women. And we did do that, and he does really love this woman that he's with. So I helped him to get rid of that whole situation. And then there was another situation where he's doing 3 different jobs, including, I think he owns, or maybe he's a property manager, whatever, of apartments in this area. And he's told me that there's some Americans coming over from the USA next month, and he wants to introduce me to them, which would be really cool, because I never actually seen another American in all the time I've been here in Albania, quite frankly. Usually it's Europeans from up north coming down to enjoy the sunshine, getting really badly sunburned, because I have no idea how strong the sun is here, even if it does feel kind of cool. In any case, I was able to help him to figure out what he wanted to do. He actually knew exactly what I do, and he had experience. He actually had the contacts. So all I had to do is future pace him to make that happen. And that all took about a half an hour. So that was a very, very lovely day. It was a perfect day to do hypnosis outside on the seaside, because I'll do it anywhere at any time. I've been known to hypnotize people in whirlpools, in saunas, anywhere, restaurants, out in, shall we say, playgrounds, anywhere. Doesn't really matter. As long as the person's open to it, doesn't really matter. Because really, nobody else really gives a damn what you're doing out there in the world. They're all doing their own thing. Huh? So we need to not be so self-conscious about what's going on. Everyone's doing their own thing. So enjoy yourself. Life is short. It's very short. I just turned 64. I have no idea where the hell all the years went. I plan on living at least another 50 years to make that happen. I have so many things I still want to do. And as long as you stay curious, you inject a lot of joy in your life, and hang out people who love and care for you, as my adopted family here in Albania has for me. Oh my God, I can't speak highly enough about these folks. They do take such good care of me. And even my landlord is amazing to work with, and has gone out of his way to help me to get my computer fixed a couple of times when it needed to happen. I didn't even have to go with him. He just took care of it. So sweet these people are. I love them to death. Seriously. And that's what you need to have an enjoyable life. Do enjoyable things with happy, healthy, beautiful, heart-centered people working on projects that matter to you. That's it, folks. It's very simple. And eat your healthy food if you can find any over there in America. I know it's a very hard thing. The organic stuff even has waxes and crap on it to make it look fake. Because real food, if you actually have a garden, you know it has blemishes on some of it. It's just the way it is. That's the way the food comes over here. because it's actually raised on real farms, and the farmers themselves sell it. And get your healthy activity, doing things that you enjoy doing. Well, that's it for this one. Hope you found it helpful, enlightening, and has given you some ideas of things that would be much better for you to spend your time doing other than arguing with other people about a bunch of garbage that's out of your, shall we say, ability to do anything about, quite frankly. Do the things that you can to bring joy and love into your life. And then you'll have a happy, wonderful, healthy, long life that's worth living. Bye-bye all.